boogers. Sticky, icky, and sometimes long. We're not surprised to discover these around the nose, but when it comes to kids, you can find boogers in the most precarious places. In the fingernails, in their ears, and more often than you'd think, in their hair. They come in all shapes and sizes. But before I started doing lice checks at camp, I had no idea they could also come in all colors.
Ew, what do you mean all colors? What do you mean all colors?
Okay, Jenny, let's talk about it.
She speaks the truth. We have seen every color, shape, and size of booger that could possibly be on the planet from a human being.
Like purple?
Yes.
Purple, red. Sometimes they're almost like rubber cement too, to the hair.
Ew.
It's because they've been in there just festering for a long time. There are boogers everywhere, but there are lots of boogers at camp. So it's a great topic to start off with this camp episode.
So we have a couple booger stories. This past summer, when we were checking kids into camp on opening day, the way we check for lice is that we take water, we spray their hair with water, we put a little conditioner in it, and then we take our lice comb and we comb through the hair, just the top part of the head. So we're combing through and we wipe it on a white paper towel so we can see what's coming out of the hair. So as I'm combing, I felt something kind of get stuck in the comb.
Oh, God.
Now, sometimes, there are a lot of things that can get stuck. It could have been a tangle. It could have been a leaf from outside. But no, when I kept combing, I wipe it on the thing and it's kind of smushy as I'm kind of wiping. And I can see the kind of green outline of it. And I notice it's a giant green booger. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to keep combing, see if there's any lice in here. I keep combing, and then a second booger comes out. So there were 2 boogers on one child.
I mean, we have found boogers on girls too, I will say.
Yeah.
Our corporate executive assistant, Laura, the first time we brought her to camp, and we were like, you've got to kind of, have a poker face. You're going to comb some really nasty stuff out of people's hair.
Poker face is key when you're combing.
Poker face and Laura do not go in the same sentence.
No, they do
because she's combing along and she obviously the comb gets stuck in this girl's hair and she pulls it out and she wipes it. And I could see this from across the room because I'm back there treating kids for lice, and she holds her paper towel to Molly, and Molly's kind of like, and she goes,
I'm like, yes.
She screams, she has a booger in her hair. There's 300 kids in line behind this poor girl. And everyone's looking at her. Laura's holding, waving it like a flag. Yes, Laura, the booger is in her hair.
Yes.
She's like, whoa. Okay.
Oh, gross. The drama's about to end, 'cause gross. Stop asking for a friend. Taboos. Icky's what we do. It's just science. Yeah, it's not so weird. Your gross out journey starts right here on Oh Gross.
This episode, we're talking everything you need to know about camp. Summer camp, holiday camp, or that camp you dump the kids at for spring break so you can hit the spa. And we even have Lori Waldman, the owner of Blue Ridge Camp.
She is the camp queen, I hear.
She is the camp queen, and she's got some hilarious and interesting stories to share. And they're funny, and they may actually horrify you a little bit, but in a fun way.
Well, I'm kind of scared because I definitely am the parent who drops their kid off at, the day camp at the hotel so I can go to the spa. So you're telling me
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Even that kind of camp, I got to worry about stuff.
Oh, girl, you have no idea. Just wait.
Well, I don't know if I told you guys this, but my eldest, Delaney, just got back from camp and she was gone for 3 days. I picked her up the other day. When I tell you, I couldn't believe how dirty she was in just like 48 hours. I was like, that's impressive, girl. I mean, that's really impressive. Like,
wait a minute, she was there for 2 days?
She was there for 2 nights, 3 days.
Okay, so how did her hair look when she came back?
She definitely had not brushed the top, but the bottom, I think what she had done was like keep it back and then was brushing the ponytail. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But not the top. I mean, she'd be mortified.
Did you do your lice check when she got home? No.
You better get that comb in that hair.
I know. You know what? I'll do it today because it's only, now you're making me itchy, Jenny. I didn't. All right. I'm loving the interpretation of camp today. Molly is ready to go out back, build a fire for sure.
I've got my hat.
She's
Got my flannel.
Got her flannel. Jenny is ready
for it.
to start another girl band.
I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak.
Wait, we need a camp song.
Right.
Well, that's what I look like, though.
No, she does. I don't even
You
know.
could at least sing a camp song.
I have my camp choker.
Let's talk through your outfit, Jenny, right now.
All right. I have my camp boots.
Those are not camp boots.
Not camp
Well,
boots.
my real camp shoes are dirty from real camp.
You should have worn those.
No, they remind me of like in 1990s, those black shoes. They were like the shoes that they were part of your leggings, right? That's what they are, right? They're like those boots that disappear. Like the short boots.
Well, they're like ankle boots.
Yeah, black leggings and a
Or they
jean-
look like motorcycle boots. Like,
Yeah.
I would wear
Yeah.
this on my motorcycle with my husband.
I am a hot motorcycle camp babe.
This outfit is if Jenny were going glamping.
Glamping.
Not camping, but
No.
this is a glamping outfit.
I'm saying Arizona, we're going to like one of those like biker bars.
Yes.
And there's going to be some live music and maybe we're going to see, a little bit of like bull riding. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Maybe
Right?
simple, right?
But not camping.
We're definitely posting these looks or fits, as the young kids say, on Instagram. So go to @itsOgross. You'll have to see them all for 1990s obsession.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the late 90s and that's hot.
When you guys go to camp, which I'm fascinated to talk about camp today for real. When you guys go to camp, do you wear your Lice Lady uniform? Or do you like dress?
So
But
we have our Lice Ladies t-shirts and we wear cute little shorts with it. We've got our little Tevas or we've got our tennis shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Hair pulled back, of course.
I was going to say, do you cover your head? Because like you're about to enter like Lice-ageddon with kids.
We always have our hair back or in hats if we're going to be checking like 600 heads at a pop, because not only could there be lice in those heads of hair, but there could be boogers.
No.
And the lice cases are up this year.
They're way up this year. I mean, so many more kids have lice this year than last year. Look, people, we are way beyond the pandemic lull of lice. We are back to normal times from like 2018-19.
I didn't know it was so elaborate. Like when kids check into camp, like show, like, is it like they line up? Like walk me through like this whole, because when I went to camp, I feel like someone just like dumped you off and you just kind of went in and you hoped you survived. Like this is like a whole thing now.
I think it depends on the camp, but most of the camps, what they do is you kind of have a registration area. So the kids come in, they get registered, then they go through a health check line where they're taking their temperatures, their weight, if there are any medications, things like that. And then once they go through the health line, then they get lined up to come through the lice checking line. The fun part.
Mm-hmm. Now, these kids have been on planes a lot since like 5 o'clock in the morning that morning. They've flown to Georgia and then a bus has picked them up from the airport and they've driven another 2 hours to the North Georgia mountains to camp.
Georgia is like a hot spot for camp, right? It's like people from all over the country come to camp in Georgia.
All over the world.
Yeah.
We
some
have
of them
people
come
from
Europe,
England, Israel, everywhere.
France. I mean, there has been so many people from all over Europe and all over the U.S. So by the time they get to camp, some of these kids,
they are real funky.
They're funky and they've been traveling for like 8 or 9 hours already by the time they get dropped off at camp. Right?
Okay. And look, I had the funky kid line. I'm not even kidding you. Like there was so much funk in their hair. There was at one point, there was one kid I actually gagged. Like, I've been doing this for so many years. And this one kid was so incredibly funky. I literally gagged. One kid had candy stuck in their hair. Another kid, it looked like he hadn't washed his hair in like 6 months. That was the kid that grossed me out because you could smell the funk coming off of his scalp.
Oh.
And then when you put the comb through the hair, it was like a whole bunch of hair product and all kinds of stuff were coming off the scalp. This is so common, especially as kids get older. You know, us moms, we're just not in the kids' hair as much as they were when they were 5 or 6 years old. So when they get older and they're at camp, you know, they're just going to be a little bit more funky, you know?
And even at home, I mean, like, the truth is, like, my daughter, like, she has a very specific routine, supposedly, at how she washes and conditions her hair. But sometimes she gets out of the shower and I'm like, wait a minute, I think she only conditioned her hair. I'm not sure that there was a shampoo part of that because she thinks it's going to make her hair shinier, you know?
Right.
And how common is that, though? You know?
Super common.
Because she's 10. Yeah.
She's
They
10.
can't.
Yeah.
They can't rinse it all out. They come out with shampoo still in their hair or conditioner that's not rinsed out. And, you know, it can build up, or they can't reach the top of their head sometimes or the back of their head.
Right.
But the sad thing about this conversation, though, is that this is check in.
This is not check out.
Right. They haven't
Check
been
out
at
is
camp yet.
worse.
It's way worse. Check out is, I mean, you almost have to like put on a hazmat suit to check them out of camp.
Like, do they like have you guys check? Wait, do they have you guys check? And then they're like, this kid's really dirty. Let's put them in the shower so the parents don't know before they go home. Like, what's the...
That's what
there's been a
I've
couple
always,
times, yes.
like, excuse me. If you send this child home to their parents are going to go ballistic. Put this child in the shower immediately.
and brush their hair.
Last year, I lifted this girl's hair up to check. And when I lifted one hair up, literally her entire head of hair came up in a bird's nest, and it was hard and crusty.
What was
And
it?
she hadn't.
It was her hair. She hadn't brushed her
in
hair.
2 months. She had been at camp for 2 months, and she hadn't brushed her hair one time. Now, she wasn't like 8. She was probably
No, she was like
middle school
14.
age. Yeah, or
Yeah, she was
young
like
high
13
school.
or 14.
So this was a lot of hair, and so I had to help the health center detangle her literal bird's nest of hair, which had camp, like lake debris in it, bugs.
Let's clarify. When they're leaving camp, they've been at camp for at least a month.
At least a month.
Some kids are there for the entire summer.
But the truth is, like, when kids are away for 2 months, right? I cannot believe that brushing their hair is a priority on the list of things they're going to do with parents not there, because I know my son, if he could get away with not brushing his hair for 2 months, I mean, he's 5, he would be like, heck yeah, he hates brushing his hair.
Or bathing. I mean,
yes.
brushing hair, bathing, it's all, you know, it just goes out the window at camp.
Yeah.
I got sent to camp when I was in middle school, like early middle school, like 6th grade. And I got sent to
Did you not like camp?
only a week-long camp. And I was so smelly when I got home. My mom almost threw up. She had to run away. And she
But see, that's what I'm
literally
saying.
put
That's
me
what we
in
see.
a tub like full of like, you know, all these different kind of disinfectants and soaps because I didn't shower for a whole week.
But that's what we see at camp.
And all I ate were cherry sour candies, and I drank
those were
grape
so
soda.
good.
That was all I did, and I didn't
Those were
shower.
so good.
But
No,
is
I
this-
would go to
but
camp.
Did you go to camp? Where'd you go to camp?
I mean, I went to several different camps, church camp, youth group camp.
Were they overnight?
This is in Ohio.
Oh, did you stay
Yeah,
overnight?
they were like week-long camps. Yeah.
A week.
Nothing was ever like a month long, but it was like a week. But I mean, I would go to camp now. I think they should have adult camp. Like, why can't we go to these camps?
Can you imagine if the 3 of us roomed in like a cabin? We'd have like the best time ever.
No, but these camps
We'd
are
be scared
so
of all the
fun.
bugs.
No, the camps
They
are
are
so
fun.
great.
We
They've
would
got
just
huge
drink
water
wine.
parks. That's what I'm talking about. Adult camp. You get to go. You can lay on the beach there.
Right. Raft. We can raft.
You can have yoga. I mean, because some of these camps have yoga and
Music,
wellness programs. We can
horseback
have
riding.
art. And then at night, we can have wine.
That would be.
I think it's perfect.
I'm not riding a horse.
I would ride a horse.
No, if I rode a horse, no. Wait, do you know the story, don't you? Like, so you know how Brian, my husband, we try to do these like adventure vacations after he survived cancer, and
she froze.
Lori's here.
Hi.
Yay!
It's Lori!
I was just telling a story about why I will never ride a horse at camp.
Oh God.
The one time my husband took me horseback riding, my horse took off.
Wow.
So Lori is amazing. You want to introduce Lori and tell us how you guys have known each other for so long?
Yes. So Lori Waldman is one of the most incredible, wonderful human beings we have ever met in our entire life. And one of the funniest. And she and her husband own Blue Ridge Camp in the North Georgia mountains. And this is how we met her. We have to start this way.
Oh no.
So Lori called me about, 12, 13, 14 years ago. And I got this phone call on the Lice line. And it's this hysterical woman that with this New York accent. And she was like, the first thing, Lice ladies, this is Jenny. Oh my God. I need someone to help me at camp right now. I just need you to tell me that you can help me because I have tried 4 other places and no one can flippin' help me. I was like, ma'am.
Did she say flippin'?
I said
No.
flippin',
Okay.
not slippin'. And I said God, not guad. Okay. Go on. Carry on.
I said, ma'am, what can I help you with? She goes, I need someone to get up here and check all these kids for lice because there's a lot of them that have lice and I cannot handle it. I can't come up there today, but I can be there tomorrow. I love you. Here's the address.
Now, let's preface this. Also, Jenny was supposed to go on her birthday trip. We were going to go to a concert.
We were going to go out of town to a concert that next night. But when I got to camp, there was so much lice that I had to spend the night at camp. I missed my birthday trip.
Oh my God.
That was the first and only time that you ever had to spend the night for camp.
And
Wait, where did you sleep? Where did you sleep? I need to know.
Oh,
Stop right
no.
here. Where did you sleep?
You better
I
make it
slept
sound
in
like the
their-
Ritz, girlfriend.
It was in their health center. And I called Molly and I was like, dude,
Hey, dude.
I'm not going to be home tonight. What do you mean? We're supposed to leave to go out of town. Dude, these kids are swimming in lice and I have to treat them. And there's so many. There's like 50 more. She was like, oh my God. So I spent the night at camp and then we have loved Lori and Joey
Aw.
so much ever since that day.
And their family. We love their
Oh,
family
we
too.
love you guys. So they have been so amazing. It was really incredible. I don't know where all the critters came from that year. I do know that I've been in camp this is my 34th summer. And that was only like year maybe 20. And we didn't have all these little things crawling out of kids' hair. When I called Molly and Jenny, I was leaving. If something didn't happen, I was leaving. He was going to have to find a new coworker, wife, whatever. I was leaving.
He wouldn't get rid of you.
Wait, did you get lice or your husband get lice?
I
Was it
wouldn't
that?
be here
much
talking
of an
to
outbreak?
you if I got lice. Okay, there would be no way in hell. No way in hell. They were literally crawling at I said to Jenny on the phone, I remember saying to you, wait a second, is this what it is? Because they're crawling down their head. She goes, oh, yes, when they're mature. And then she starts giving me a whole explanation of their life cycle. I'm like,
Oh, that's your little scientist
yes.
coming out.
I said, can you help me, please? No, you guys were amazing. You were like here the next day. You said, I'm missing my birthday weekend. I said, I really don't care about that right now. I really care about this bug situation.
So, Lori, do you think that there's more lice now than there was before? Because you've been doing this for 34 years, or just more stuff in kids' heads?
Well, that too. No, I absolutely do. And I've gotten a tremendous education from Molly and Jenny about lice and super lice and where it is in the world. They keep me abreast of the type of bugs we see and how super they are.
Wow.
Right?
Jenny, talk about this. What's in this end super? And first of all, what is super lice? We just skipped over that. You just like skipped over that. Lori's like, and super lice, you know, Jenny told me about. I'm envisioning a cape on a little lice like a Superman.
That's basically what it is, right? That's all we have in the world now are super lice, which just means they're pesticide resistant. So the over-the-counter pesticides and the prescription pesticides don't work. It only kills a percentage of the bugs and nothing kills the nits or the eggs. So you literally have to comb it all out to get rid of it. Or there's there's one other treatment that's a really, really good heat treatment that you can use. But unless you're using a good enzyme-based product like ours and a professional comb or the heat treatment, you're not going to get rid of it. So the enzyme actually eats the knit glue. So when the females...
Science lesson.
When the females...
She's going to burn
Lori. Poor Lori.
Oh, okay.
When they lay the eggs in your hair, they cement them to the base of the hair strand next to your scalp. And it's really hard for people to get the eggs out or the knits. So they'll comb and comb and comb and they're stuck. So my enzyme will eat that knit glue and loosen them to where we can actually get everything out. And it will also begin to eat the exoskeleton of the live bugs. So some of them die, but some of them are just paralyzed and stunned. But we're able to get everything out of the hair. Plus we use a professional comb, and my comb has these little grooves that go up each metal tong. So it drags the nits out of the hair.
And also because it's non-toxic, it does not get into the bloodstream or harm you in any
Right.
way.
Oh.
Yep. It's just an
Yeah.
enzyme. So it might eat your dandruff a little bit. If you've used a box color at home and you've got color on your scalp, might eat some of the residual color off your scalp, but it cannot hurt you. So
Wait, is it good to eat your dandruff though? I mean, like, do we not want our dandruff eaten? Because
I mean,
It'll make you
cure
really
dandruff?
flaky if you have dandruff. And
it'll get it off. Well, a lot of
Right.
the moms will come back in our clinics in Atlanta. Our patients, the moms will come in and they'll say, I have never had such a clean scalp
Right.
and shiniest hair because it's like getting a facial on your scalp.
I like you always find the positive in lice. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're always on the sunny side of lice.
Right.
But what about other bugs? Do you guys see other bugs in kids' hair?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, yes.
yes.
Especially at camp.
Yeah.
I mean, Lori, you've probably seen some of the bugs and things that are in their hair. I mean, we've seen ticks, we've seen fleas, we've seen
Flies, ants,
Bees.
I
I've
mean, if
seen
it gets
bees
stuck,
in kids' hair.
bees.
Yeah, lots of bees.
Yeah.
Like just like hanging
Bees,
out?
hornets,
Just hanging out in their
wasps.
hair.
Well, you know, some kids don't brush their hair for 3 weeks when they're at camp.
we were just talking
what-
about that.
That's what I'm saying.
Just talking
we
about
were
that.
just
Lori.
talking about that.
100%. So it looks like a nest that they would want to live in. So of course they're going to gravitate.
Too. They create hair nests at camp.
Wait, and they don't sting anybody. They just go and hang out.
They poop, they pee, they populate, repopulate. I don't know what they're doing in there, but they do it.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
We were talking about kids having head-to-head contact. So this is one of the best stories on Lori. You know what I'm going to talk about. There was this kid at camp way back that first time that I came. And this kid was only like 12 or 13 at the time. And he was the Casanova of camp. He was so funny. And
We all had one of those.
He had been making out with all these different girls and they didn't know. And he had given them all lice.
Oh,
He had given them all lice. And I'm treating one girl and she's looking at him. She's so mad because, you know, she thought they were dating. And then there's another girl in the same room, like waiting for her treatment. And she's just looking at him. And so he's been playing all these girls. And he looks at me and he goes, I like myself an older woman. I can't. It was so funny. I was like, sit down. He was so funny. So then I find out that he had gotten caught in one of the porta potties with a girl
Oh my gosh.
kissing this one girl. I'll never forget. I walk into the cafeteria that afternoon, and him and all his friends were like, yeah, the lice. And they gave me a standing ovation in the cafeteria. He was hilarious. That same day, as if that wasn't funny enough, we check Lori's daughter, Ricky, and her best friend, Josh. And they were so funny. They were so scared to get their check. They were like hiding under these bunk beds and like running around the room. And did Ricky ever have it? I don't know.
I thought she had it
I
once.
thought I found it on her one time.
I remember
I
not
thought
going
there
near
was one
her for a
time.
while, one year.
Yes, yes.
Well, and the counselors get really worried. If their campers get it, then they start scratching their heads and they're like, hey, can I sneak in the checking line?
But I find it really interesting. I mean, Lori, you just said that like, even though you've been doing this for 3 decades, that you're still afraid of lice and you stay away from the girls when they come and they're doing their lice checks. and your kids who are counselors and your daughter is a counselor, same thing. She's been exposed to this and she's still worried about lice. Girls, what do you think this comes from? Like the stigma that like, oh no, lice, is so terrible. Why is there such a stigma around lice?
Well, lice has always been associated, in past times with being dirty, which we know that that's not the case. And also with being, lower socioeconomic or something, to that stigma, but it's not true. Lice like clean heads, but it's so conditioned in our brains with some of the terms that we use, even in our language on an everyday basis. The adjective lousy.
No.
It is.
Really?
Yeah. Because, and it comes from a singular louse. It's not a lice, it's a louse. And so, lousy would be, an adjective to describe if someone back then, might be infested with lice but that's kind of morphed into our language today, meaning icky or bad, lousy.
Right. I mean, it's, the term nitpicking came from back in the day, before there were lice medicines and things like that.
Literally, nitpicking is from nits. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's all about lice, people. So lice is actually really common, and it's actually a lot easier than people would think to treat.
And it's also super easy to stop the spread. We tell all the counselors when the kids come off the buses or when they do not hug anybody until you have lice check.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy because all the kids, they're so excited and we understand that, but we're constantly like yelling, like, don't hug anybody.
Yes, because we have seen them transfer it like that.
In the line, we've seen it transfer.
Yes, there's these these hilarious twin boys at one of the camps, and they are so funny. And I heard my name being screamed like from way off in the distance last year. And I look and there's these 2 little boys running towards me. Bestie, we're here. And I was like, stop. Don't hug anybody. Don't hug me, because they were coming in for the hug. And I'm like, no. Have to check you first. But I did get lice, not from a camper.
From camp?
But from my own kid. But I have yet to get it, knock on wood, from lice ladies.
And I do have to say that Lori is so funny that when we go to camp, she comes and she greets us, but then she kind of avoids us the rest of the day. Because she's so freaked out about lice.
Because she knows the lice is flying in the room that we're in.
Yes.
Wait, because you know what they do, Kara? You have to know this. They are really amazing in making sure that the parents know that these kids have lice for real. It's not something they make up to make money. They would never do that. They're 100% honest. And, that's another reason why we love them, because they really do it just to keep those things out of camp. But what they'll do is they start to comb the camper's hair, and whatever conditioner they put in the kid's hair, and then they have a white paper towel. And this is what they do.
Yep.
They take the comb and they go like this on the paper towel. And then they go like this. See? I'm like, okay, I will see you next year. And I dart out of there. I dart. And
You're like, I've seen lice. I get it. But that's like their TikTok, right? That's all over their
all
TikTok.
over their TikTok.
But then I have to text Lori pictures. We
have to text her pictures too.
Yeah, we text her pictures. So poor Lori is getting all of these lice pictures, and I'll have the camper's name and then their lice paper towel, and then the next camper's name and their lice paper towel.
And she's gagging at the same time. She's
Yes.
looking at all of
the
them.
weakest
okay.
stomach, and they sent it to me. And my phone then is full of lice pictures. Disgusting.
You're welcome.
So Lori actually texted me some of these pics this morning, which I was so excited about. And we're going to put them up on our Insta at It's Oh Gross, so you guys can check them out, and also on our website.
So much fun, don't you think, seeing people's responses to the stuff that we post online?
Oh, 100%. It's hilarious.
When you first started your TikTok, I was so excited for you because you two have the best personality. And I thought that the topic was amazing. Like, people are like, who really would ever be privy to those kinds of things and pictures and information? So I said, this is going to be great.
Yeah, when the social media blew up, that's when I dragged Kara back into the whole lice game with us because
Yes,
I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, please, Kara, what do I do with this? It's blowing up.
We need you, Kara. We need you.
You were like, I posted a video and everyone's looking at it. I was like, we need to post more. And then lice became my life too.
Yeah.
After the second TikTok, I said to Ricky, my daughter who does the social media, I said, you will have to press like on all of those because I refuse. I am I couldn't eat lunch. I said, I'm not looking. And Ricky says to me, no, you have to watch them. It's so funny. It's informative, but it's funny. I said, it's good. Keep watching and keep liking and spread it around. Tell your friends, share it, do it. Exactly.
Thank you, Ricky.
It's funny because it is gross, right? Like the idea of it being gross, but it's so normal. And I think that that's what we're talking about. Like, this is normal. Camp, you're going to see, bugs, right? We all know that, right? And lice is in your hair, a bug in your hair. And I think that's what you're good at too. Like, I think at the end of the day, as gross as it is to find a booger in a camper's head, like, how common is that?
No, that's a great point.
Common.
Right. And with all respect to lice ladies, I can't pop my own pimples. Okay. So, so that's who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So most people do realize, yes, this is just a fact of life. It happens, being social creatures that we are, and we pass it around, and it has to be taken care of. And I know, some teenagers, they have their first boyfriend and they sit at the dock and they pop their pimples on their boyfriend's back.
Ugh. Okay, I have to tell you, I would break up with my boyfriend if he had asked me to pop pimples on his back.
I love doing it. Okay. Oh. There's something so satisfying when you see, there's like right there on the back and you see that big old white head just staring at you. And you just want to get your fingernails right into it and just pop it and get it out of there.
Yeah, no, I don't pop husband's pimples either, no.
But honey, if you have lice, I'll be happy to comb them out of your hair.
Yeah.
What?
I am scared of all bugs except lice. I really am. Like, I'm terrified of all bugs. As odd as that sounds,
yeah,
I scream with all of, but I love lice because,
Well, even at camp, you like scream when we're in the what is it, the art building, Lori, that we're set up in? Jenny will see bugs in the art building and she starts screaming and yelling for me to like kill them.
I do. But I love lice. Kara, do not look at me that way.
Wait, back it up. Jenny, what happens when you find a worm in a kid's head? Do you scream?
I do.
Yes, she does.
I do. I scream. And then I laugh.
Because you find other bugs all the time, right?
All the time, yes. Yes. I will never forget one time we were checking at a camp and there was it a tick or a bee?
A tick.
A tick was climbing up Molly's shirt and all I could do was point and scream and I was like, ah! And everyone's looking at me and I was like, ah! I can get
She
the
didn't
words
get it
out.
off of me either. She just kept screaming.
Finally, I think I grabbed a broom or something and I'm brooming off her shirt to get the tick off.
I'm just floored because like you're not only in the bug business, you also are a scientist.
But she hates every other bug.
I do.
So you love lice. You love
I
lice.
love lice, but I hate all other bugs.
Here's the important question for Lori and Jenny and Molly. What can parents do to encourage their children not to let bugs live in their hair at camp? Like what are the takeaways that we should maybe, you know what I mean?
Well,
the parents should know about.
Lori can answer this because Lori trains her staff. And the counselors there are trained to keep these kids using basic hygiene. So Lori, I'll let you answer that.
It's part of staff orientation. We actually orient our staff through all these basic hygiene strategies, basically to keep the kids from spreading lice and ringworm and impetigo, all of that. But lice, especially at the very beginning. Going forward, they understand how they're transmitted from head to head, person to person. And then, of course, field trips. So I never thought of that until Molly and Jenny said, wait, do you know how your kids can start a lice infestation again? Movie theaters, at Six Flags, leaning up against all these things terrify me. So really what I want to do is put their head in a plastic bag when they go out of camp. So what we do, we ask them, this is going to sound crazy, but a lot of them have this rosemary tea spray. What is that, Jenny? You would know. It has like rosemary mint spray. A
lot of them have lice repellent sprays. Mm-hmm.
I don't even know that it works, but it makes them cognizant that they could pick up lice outside if I tell them about it.
So lice repellent can work. It can help. It's not foolproof, but the reason why lice repellent is good to use is because of the essential oil scent. So those little lice are trying to sense your blood out of your scalp because that's what they like to eat. So if they can't sense it or
Lori over there is
smell
like,
it, right? She's not okay. She's not okay. So it masks the scent of your blood and it also dirties up your hair. Lice like a clean scalp and clean hair. So if you have essential oils or hair product on your hair, you're less attractive to a louse. So that's why a lice repellent is a good thing, or hair product is a good thing to aid in the repelling of the lice.
I tell them, if you're sitting in the movies, you really don't have to get so into your seat. You're only there for an hour and a half. Sit up.
Right.
Or wipe the seat down before you sit down.
A lot of them do have individual wipes with them that they'll bring in a baggie. I know they all look like, what's that guy from, remember those two guys that lived together and one of them was the clean freak? Probably too young.
Oh, I know.
The Odd Couple?
I can't think of it. Odd Couple.
The Odd Couple.
Odd Couple.
Yeah, they all look like him. But I think as a camp owner, what my responsibility, aside from educating the staff and the kids, which we do at our orientation, and it kind of freaks out kids that never had lice before. But our first opening campfire, everything that Molly and Jenny have sent over the years, I have on a sheet and I literally read it at the campfire. And then I think we have to be proactive with our helmets and, all the things the kids can transmit from head to head. And they have given me an incredible education over the years.
All right, ladies, what are the things kids and parents, or even teachers, right? Even teachers who are doing these 3-day camp trips like my daughter just did, need to know about camp so everyone can feel more informed and make it great and also prevent the fear?
Hair ties, not sharing hairbrushes or hair ties or combs. I think something that Jenny and Molly made me aware of that I never even thought of was hugging. Kids are always hugging. And when they hug hair to hair, that's, when you can transmit. I mean, I always thought they flew and they hopped major lengths in this, but no, it's like literally when the kids are hugging each other and they're hair to hair. So, it's not that we don't want them to be warm to each other and, giving each other a high five after they do something great usually follows with a hug. But a lot of the girls now, what we tell them is keep a hair tie in. It's safe anyway. When you're going to climbing, if you're whatever, it's safer to have your hair in a hair tie at camp. So a lot of them will put their hair in a bun or in a hair tie, and I think it makes a big difference.
What about when they're things they bring in, girls? Like, is that like something parents should be aware of? Like what they're bringing, like clothes or packing? And
typically when they are packing up things, normally a lot of parents will send them with brand new hairbrushes, or they send them with brand new bedding, or their bedding or their things have already been in their suitcases or luggage for at least 48 hours. So as long as their heads have not touched any of those items, then the things that are coming into camp are still good and they're still valid. But if they've had a hairbrush in their backpack and they've brushed their hair for us before they get their lice checked so that they're not so tangled, we may need to take that hairbrush and sterilize it for them.
Listen, but not every camp has the foresight like our amazing Lori here, or even the resources, right, guys, to like hire a team like you lovely ladies. So I think all of this information is super, super helpful because there's so much parents can do beforehand to prevent lice, or even after to prevent, lice outbreaking in the home.
Let's just also be in reality too, that when kids go to camp,
they're going to have fun.
They're going to have fun and they're going to be kids. And there's no camp in the world that can guarantee that kids are not going to contract, impetigo or mosquito bites or a bee sting or lice or anything else like that, because these kids are doing activities the whole time. That's the point. That's why they're at camp, is to have fun. So what these camps are really good at doing is to minimize the spread from the beginning so that there's not, a horrible outbreak that they are bringing lice into camp or impetigo or something like that. But with activities they're doing, if they are to contract something, it's much more minimized because the camp is able to stop it from being spread so horribly at the very beginning of a camp session starting. So there was a patient we had a year ago, and she had sent her kids to one of the summer camps. And they came home with lice. And we don't check that summer camp out. We check them in. And she was just really mad. And I said, but your child has gone off-site and gone whitewater rafting. And your child has gone off-site and gone to Six Flags. And your child has gone off-site and done hikes and campouts and Six Flags, all this other stuff. So there's no way a camp can guarantee your kid's not going to come home with something. So if you're worried about, all of these little things, then don't send your kid to summer camp, lady. And she, and she looked at me for a minute and she was like, you're right. I said, but the camp did its job by stopping the spread at the very beginning of camp. So.
Yeah. And, another misnomer that both of you made us overtly aware of, not that we weren't, but really overtly aware of, that we could share with the parents, because sometimes they feel that if a child comes to camp and has lice, or we know who came and so-called, gave it to whoever they hugged coming off the bus, that child, comes from a different type of background or a different economic background, and it's not true. Lice transcends any and all, no matter what their background, no matter what their socioeconomic stance is in their, family. It's just something that lives in our world. So it is what it is, and unfortunately it has a terrible stigma to it. But like Jenny just said, if you're going to be out and about and active and social, you're bound to get something.
Right.
Well, to wrap it up, I want to know like your 5 biggest takeaways like every parent should know about camp.
I get very emotional when I talk about camp. I just finished I do 3 meetings at camp with the staff during orientation. Joey does his, Ricky does hers. And every year I say, I'm not going to get choked up. I'm not going to be the wimp that cries. But, all three of us, and this is for real, we really are doing something we're really passionate about that gives us incredible purpose. And the reason being is because of what kids get out of camp. And not just our little kids, our staff too. The little ones we call our littles. And then, I have my bigs, the big babies are our staff. But camp, people say that tagline, it's a magical place. But it really is. It's the place where you can reinvent yourself if you get pigeonholed into, she's the quiet one in the family, or, this is the non-sporty boy that we have. Oh, well, camp is such a safe, supportive environment where you can literally just start to be what you think you could be, but nobody else thinks you can. And once you realize that, you can just break out of it and become that. And it's so important to them. And it's a place where they learn how they can stand up for themselves. A lot of kids get bullied and teased at home. And unfortunately, it keeps going and going and going because there is no stopping to that. Teachers don't stop it, and nobody's outside playing with them to stop it. And at camp, I think they really learn how to stand up for themselves, what to say, how to fake it till they make it. So the bully's not getting that satisfaction from, what they're doing. I think a lot of kids that are followers, when they come to camp, they learn that leaders don't always have to be the loud ones or the aggressive ones. I think, doing all the things they do, even on, something as simple as doing the ropes course, like really learn what being a good leader is.
Actually, my daughter just learned this at her school trip she went to. It was so amazing. She was so scared to do the ropes course. And she came home and she was elated and excited and was like, Mama, I did it. It's like, that's what camp's all about.
They really learn that they can have an impact on a situation with the exact person that they are. They don't have to change that, but use what they have.
We see it a lot. Just the different camps that we do, we've seen kids grow up over the years, and we've seen them transform into these amazing young adults.
And their confidence is always built so much at camp.
That is truly why Jenny and Molly just fit in this CBR family, because they are so real. They fit right in. They're just amazing, and their service is amazing. Sorry if I sound like a commercial, but I love you.
Thank you, Lori. We love you.
We do.
All right. Thank you so much, Lori. We know how busy your day is.
All right, thank you too. All right. So great to meet you. We love you. Thank you, guys.
Today was so amazing. And it's so great that we had Lori here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And our next couple of episodes are all about one of my favorite holidays, Halloween.
We're discussing the stuff of my nightmares, spiders.
And my friend Marcus Dunstan is stopping by next time. He's written a bunch of Saw films and directed his share of horror films with creepy crawlies, and Molly knows many of his films.
Yes, I love them. And then we're going to be talking with arachnologist Rod Crawford from Seattle's Burke Museum about why these crawlies might not be as creepy as we think.
Jenny, listen up.
I can't wait. So until then, we'll see you all on Insta and TikTok at It's Oh Gross.
Oh, gross. That drama's about to end, 'cause gross.